What a spectacle it was last night. And Democrats are struggling today to respond to President Trump's fifth State of the Union. They were all in disarray last night, struggling with the optics of looking like spoiled brats, which is what they did. And I think Democrats are in total disarray today, trying to get on the same page with all of this.
Well, even MSNBC, who said that whoever came up with that idea of the bingo panels should be fired, watch their response.
Yeah, how they gonna snatch it back, Michael, when they holding up bingo or auction signs?
I was gonna say, well, thank you, Simone.
Can we talk about it?
The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership.
Wow. MSNBC last night. So after we got off the air last night, I wanted to watch MSNBC and see how they were handling this. And they just had a meltdown.
Yes.
They're like, I don't know what they were thinking. Hold up these bingo signs and putting up little whiteboards with stupid signs. It was an idiot moment for them. But it got even worse than that because the response for Democrats on, who should have left the chamber. So you saw Al Green of the Houston Congressional District out of Texas. He got up at the very beginning and waved his cane around and was slamming President Trump over Medicaid. And then he had to be escorted out by the Sergeant at Arms, of course, and led out of the chamber. Well, you had Sonny Holstein there on The View, who said that they didn't go far enough, that every Democrat should have just got up out of their seats and walked out of the room along with Al Green. Watch this.
I'm thinking that's what he was thinking anyway.
Can I add to that? Because, while I didn't watch it, I was looking for signs of an opposition party, which is what the Democratic Party must be at this point, not a resistance, because resistance is passive. Opposition is active. And I think that what I saw when Representative Al Green stood up and said, you don't have a mandate to take away Medicaid, and he was tossed out, I expected the rest of his Democratic caucus, the rest of his colleagues to walk out with him. Because alone you can survive, but together you thrive. That is the energy that we need. They should have stood with him in solidarity. And we had Karine Jean-Pierre here on this show yesterday, and she said we have to have a sense of urgency as we move forward, and we cannot do it the way we have in the past. This is not normal. It is a five-alarm fire. And what I want to say to the Democrats is you can't play by the rules with a party that has thrown away the rule book. That's right. You cannot do it.
I mean, think about
here's the thing.
Substance of that.
If you don't watch it, why do we have to listen to a 1-minute response of what you think?
Yeah, she said, I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it, but I wanted to see this. So then what did you watch? Curious George?
What you watched was Al Green, who represents a district in Texas, which has been a disaster. He has done nothing for the people in his district. It's a total crap show. He's getting up there and lecturing the president in a petulant way. And how do those optics play on national television? So Democrats literally leaving a State of the Union address, unprecedented. We've never seen that before. Is that what they wanted? So that then there would be no counter opposition. There would be no people sitting there through 13-year-olds with brain cancer who aren't clapping. And you just would have applause and chants of USA for the next 90 minutes.
Well, look, we are looking for the thread of what Democrats stand for, because what they gave us for the last 4 years was chaos and social decay and crime. And so when we watched the Democratic response by Elisa Sotkin, it was very much this message. We want to shrink government waste too, but not like this. We want lower prices, but not like this. We want a more efficient government, but not like this. We want safer cities, but not like this. But why didn't they do that for 4 years when they had power during the Biden administration? And if they want it, then like what? What is the message? We invited our guest today. Mel K is an independent journalist and the author of Americans Anonymous, Restoring the Power of the People, One Citizen at a Time. So thank you for joining us.
Hey, Mel.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me, guys. Nice to see you. What a crazy night.
I know.
Yeah.
Lack of sleep. I mean, are you surprised today by the sort of reeling from Democrats you had? I mean, and you literally had on the Obama side on CNN, David Axelrod, the former advisor to President Obama, saying it was a disaster for Democrats. Yep. They're petulant, sort of performative. You have people mocking, of course, the signs being held up. Then you have Sonny Holstein saying everyone should have just got up and left, not even like sit in a room with President Trump. They sound like they're grasping at straws here.
Yeah, I mean, but we have to get over this zero-sum game of I win and you lose in politics. I mean, obviously they're all agreeing on the same things on everything. So they're obviously not concerned with their constituents, because the people in Wyoming don't feel the same as the people in New York or in Florida or wherever. But this entire Democratic Party all feels the same. And the only thing they care about is hating or stopping Trump. But there's, a whole country here of so many things we can agree on, and they refuse to do that. And part of this is about the whole resistance, because we're not dealing with a party that is the good old party. This is a post-Obama holder, National Security Division, DOJ, lawfare party. Everything that they do is about lawfare. It's about winning and losing. It's about putting your enemy down. And I mean, even Sunny Hostin saying that she wants to get out there and people be on the offensive this time, as if they weren't last time. What we're seeing is a small group of people in the media and in the politics and frankly in the money sector that wants something from America that the American people don't want. And frankly, they've put in all their money to make sure that the entire side of the Democrats is a demoralization, dehumanization, and division wing of this country. And frankly, I don't think that many people agree with them. I think you guys saw, 70% of the people were happy last night, and it was on CBS News. So that's the worst thing for them. So frankly, I mean, it's just, I think the American people are seeing through it on a massive scale, and it's got nothing to do with Trump. It frankly has to do with the future of this country and the world after the, hysterics with Zelensky last week. And they're talking about putting in money, and they want all this stuff, and we're all just looking at it and saying, something has to stop. Something needs to, stand still. They're upset about Doge cutting money. They're upset that Trump wants peace. I mean, none of this makes sense. So frankly, I think that they just look like insane, lunatics running the asylum over there.
But their narrative is that people hate Trump. People are showing up to town halls and calling their representatives en masse, that nobody likes what they hear. But the polls don't support that, even their own mainstream media polls. So when I hear MSNBC saying, my mom is calling me all the time worried about her Medicaid, I think to myself, that's your fault for scaring your mom. Because Trump has never said that Medicaid is on the table to cut. So can you see that they're doing the American people a disservice by scaring them?
Yeah, well, that's what they have, fear. They haven't changed much since they went towards the radical side. But I think the other thing we have to realize, too, about these people is that they're not working for us. They are all bought and paid for. The real problem is that the sewer is in D.C., but the swamp is in our backyards, because what you're talking about with these town halls is really a group called Indivisible that is funded by USAID and all these grants at Arabella Partners and Open Society. And you have Norm Eisen and all his friends at Principles First and at, Crew and all that, suing everyone, what's his name? Mark Elias is out there. Norm Eisen's out there. They are the ones, they're astroturfing us to believe that there's a majority that supports what they're doing. And I frankly don't think there is at all. And I think it's all been bought and paid for. And the biggest reason they're upset about Doge is because their entire fraudulent house of cards cannot sustain itself without the nonprofit money that has lifted them all up to create this illusion to the American people that this is what our country is, when it's absolutely not really that.
I love what you pointed out there. For most Americans who might not even understand that, is that a lot of these town halls, they're all phony. They're all paid for. They're basically actors who go to these town hall meetings, and they're putting forth an agenda, and that's not actually what the country thinks. So I want to put up this poll. You mentioned it off the top here, Mel, which is this poll, the CBS poll last night, this YouGov poll. 76%, this is a CBS News poll. 76% among speech watchers, that doesn't include Sunny Hostin, who didn't watch the speech, approved of the damn speech. And actually, I looked at the other numbers on this. 67% said they thought it was hopeful, or 68% thought the speech was hopeful. They were proud of being American. Only 16% said they were angry. I'm sure that was probably just Nancy Pelosi and Pocahontas.
Well, a lot of them were on their phones, so they must have been voting.
Yeah.
Imagine hating our country so much that they couldn't even stand up and cheer for that little boy that beat cancer, or these parents and these victims, because that's not about politics. That's about something else.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to show you this clip because, we're a very anti-war show on here. I know you are as well.
Yes.
And so, the script is totally flipped now. Democrats have become the party of war and the funding of war. And nowhere was that more apparent when President Trump talked about how we have spent $350 billion and we want to end this war and what a boondoggle it's been. And then you just hear the applause. The applause you're hearing is from the Democratic side. And the person who keeps applauding for that amount of money is Elizabeth Warren herself. Watch this crazy moment.
With no end in sight, the United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense, with no security, with no anything.
So those are all Democrats clapping right now. Look at Mike Johnson just shaking his head.
J.D. Vance with the side eye.
You don't want to get the J.D. Vance side eye.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
She's like, yeah, more killing, more killing.
2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that.
And she's just applauding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
because it's not their family members.
Unbelievable moment to me watching Democrats applauding war and the funding of the killing of these innocent people.
Yeah, I think it's more about that the EU and the global banking system is completely broken. And in order to keep it propped up, they need to keep the war going. I hate to say that it is that shallow, but looking at what's going on, especially in the EU and what they've done to all the nation states within the EU, this is very little to do with Ukraine or caring about the people of Ukraine or the people of Russia. At this point, I really do believe that this is about keeping the money going. Don't forget, Trump was talking about ending the Marshall Plan, which is, putting taxes, reciprocal taxes on different places in Europe that we haven't been doing. We rebuilt all of Europe. We've bailed them out of 2 wars and gone over there. And the way that they're acting is so elitist and entitled and like we owe them. Like, I thought we separated that in 1775. But what I am saying right now is that this is about keeping the money going into the war machine, which never really gets to the people anyway. And again, this goes back to USAID. It goes back to a lot of the manufacturers of weapons and a lot of the contracts on the ground and the rebuilding of that. It's very sad because, frankly, I really do believe that human life is not what matters to the people that want this war to continue. It is the money that comes from war that they are prioritizing. And I think it's very clear that this is about keeping that going rather than peace. And the craziest part is, can you imagine people not being for peace and saying if it escalates to World War III or nuclear war, that's okay? It's not sensical. It's just, it's really, I think that it's about money, and people need to wake up and realize war has never been about what we've been told for decades and centuries, and we find out later, and then we regret going in. And I have so many veteran friends that look back at the last 20, 30 years, and they just want the truth. And that is the hardest part here, is that we don't need any children dying from America or from Russia or from Israel or from, Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, wherever they've gone in all over the world. Enough's enough. It's 2025. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. We can find a way to all live on this planet and protect our own countries without weapons of war being the highest bid product that anyone can buy or sell. It's really, really very sad, because I think this is about money going back in their pockets.
Well, we'll get you out of here on this, Mel. I was going to say thank you and get you out of here, but you just brought up a great point. I'll keep it tight, which is that massive golden dome that President Trump talked about last night. Right. I mean, I'm of the opinion that this is a massive boondoggle and a total waste of money. We don't need it. We see how it fails in Israel to stop hypersonic missiles. To me, this is a joke, and I wish President Trump would rethink this. We don't need this in the United States. Where do you come down on that?
Well, that bums me out. I feel the exact same way. When he announced it, I thought, oh my God, and it will take 15 years to build. And I'm thinking, so we're not ending this false, endless war. There's always, Russia's the danger, or China's the danger, or nuclear war is the danger. I mean, all of this is based on fear. But when he's coming out and saying we need an Iron Dome for somewhere down the line, I don't want that. I want to figure this all out as rational adults, where there's no zero-sum game, where all nations can thrive. I think that that's possible right now if we re-examine and we start to meet with people and do detente. So when he's talking about an Iron Dome for America, I'm thinking, wait, then that means that we have to protect ourselves from missiles coming here, not negotiate so that that doesn't happen in the future, or it's very unlikely. That's what bothers me about it.
Yeah.
And you get more of that honesty from Mel K in her book, Americans Anonymous, Restoring Power to the People, One Citizen at a Time. This is what you won't see on the mainstream media, because you watch like Fox News or whatever. They're going to be all in on, yes, build the dome. That's amazing. He's pulling a Reagan. That's amazing. So you and I, I think we're all saying this is a massive waste of money and a boondoggle, and it's just going to line the pockets of these defense contractors. So great to have you, Mel. Great to see you. Thanks, as always, and speaking truth to power. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you. Have a good one.